Hello and welcome to Uncapped, where we lift the lid on natural and low-tox lifestyles with essential oils. I'm Jess Raitt, and today I'm sitting down with a woman who makes low-tox living look so cool. The creator of The Conscious Coven, your low-tox bestie, Courtney Dow. I love and follow Courtney for so many reasons, but if I had to boil it down, it's because she is unashamedly authentic, completely relatable, and darn right hilarious. She's your online friend who manages to make carrying a child on one hip while running an empire on the other hand look effortless. She's the content creator that turns Christmas garlands into all sorts of household contraptions. She's the sister that shares her lifestyle with incredible beauty. You just want to jump into her world and live the low tox along with her. If you haven't had a chuckle thanks to Courtney yet, please do your soul a favour and follow this brilliant woman. I feel seen as a mother, as a woman, and a like-minded person on a low-tox journey myself, thanks to Courtney. Today's conversation is going to be a hoot. Welcome, Courtney.
Hi, it's great to be here.
So great to have you. Look, I have to be honest, you've got a bit of a familiarity about you. Like, I feel like I know you, even though we've only met a couple of times, but because you're so fantastic on social media, I feel like I've been your best mate for a really, really long time. Do you get that often?
Yeah, I do. And I think when you share as much as of your life on social media like I do, it's common that you start to build those relationships. And I think so much of it is, you know, not just showing up and sharing, but having those conversations behind the scenes with your audience and really getting to know each other and, you know, sharing your stories. And so, yeah, it is common. You know, I'll meet people, whether it's at dōTERRA events or if it's at home, you know, I might be down at the playground and someone's like, hey, I know you, I follow you on social media. And so, yeah, it still feels a bit weird sometimes, but it's great.
Because you don't know them, but they know almost everything about you.
Yeah, for sure.
They think they do anyway.
Yeah.
Right? But I think that comes down to your authenticity, right?
Yeah.
That you present yourself so beautifully to camera, in your world. And so we feel like we're a part of your journey.
Yeah. And I think, you know, so much of what I try to do in my business and, you know, especially on social media is just show up there exactly how I am here. Like, you know, there's no surprises. There's no, you know, sometimes I'm like, am I totally cringe showing up like this? But this is, you know, this is who I am. And I think it's one of the most important pieces of, you know, building a like-minded community is actually, you know, showing the real and the raw and, you know, all the messiness that comes with motherhood and business and life. So,
absolutely. And it's relatable. I mean, I see the craziness in your home. I see the craziness in my home. And I now have been like inspired by Christmas garlands thanks to you. So thank you for your kookiness online because it brings joy.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, so, I think everything's got to be fun. That's how I live my life.
Awesome.
Yeah, not too serious.
Totally. So let's talk about your business for a bit. Have you built The Conscious Coven completely online or how did your journey start?
So when I started my business, this was about 5 years ago, I actually predominantly did face-to-face. So I was teaching a lot of face-to-face workshops. Right when I joined there was a huge energy within our team because I was the sixth leg that joined when Alice Nichols was going to Presidential Diamond. And so we were out there in our communities and I was teaching 4 to 10 classes every month and sitting in lounge rooms. And I started my Instagram page pretty much straight away, but it was more of a space just to keep that ongoing connection with my customers because at the time, that's where they were. I wanted to meet them where they were at. But when I started my business, I only had one baby. And as you guys know, I've got 3 now. And so as I guess my life grew, I realized that I kind of had this ability to move more of my business online, which gave me more time to be at home with my kids. So it's kind of been a transition. And now I would say 99% online. And it's just been an evolution. Yeah.
And you've built this business with babies on one hip.
Yes.
And an empire on the laptop or running a class with the other hand.
Yeah, always. I taught a class, online class this week actually, and I tried to time it for when I was like, I reckon this time slot is going to be nap time. Wrong. And so I probably had about 6 people on the class and I had the laptop set up on my kitchen table and I'm running from side to side, picking up the baby, breastfeeding. He's crying at one point, ducking off camera. But, you know, I don't worry about that in my business, to be honest, because my audience are mostly mums. And it comes back to that relatability piece.
Yeah.
Like, they are sitting at home watching this call, probably with babies in their arms, probably having to break up a fight in the background or clean up a spill. And I love that I can show women that, you know, you can have both.
Absolutely.
You can run a business and you can be home with your kids, and it doesn't have to look like this perfect, you know, seamless thing that you might see on social media sometimes, you know?
Totally. And it's not glorified either. It's not like you're pretending that it's easy, but behind the scenes, you're really that duck that's madly paddling underwater. It's like, this is real, this is raw. I'm going to be online at possibly 9 or 10 o'clock at night after I've popped the kids to bed, but it is possible, which I think is amazing.
And I think it just comes with, you know, your attitude, because I think, you know, with, for example, that class the other day, I easily could have gone into that feeling really stressed and being like, oh, Milo's awake, he's not asleep, this is going to be a disaster. Or I can get on, and the first thing that I always say is, hey, you know, just letting you guys know that I'm here, I'm running this call today with my 8-month-old. So, you know, it might be a little bit messy, but we're just going to run with it. And people appreciate that and they love it. Like, you see them like giggling when I'm like, oh, hold on a sec, you know. So
they feel seen.
That's it. That's it.
I feel you. I'm there. I might have an 18-year-old or I might have a 2-month-old, but we all feel that pull in different directions. So good on you. Thank you for keeping it real.
Got to embrace it. Got to embrace it, or you go mad.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Hence why we actually have coffee in these cups today. It's not tea today. I thought, I've had a bit of a 24-hour stint. You also thought you were going to die yesterday on the aeroplane. So.
It's true. It's true. It was nearly the end, but I survived.
So for anyone who's not familiar with what happened yesterday, you got to save that that highlight.
I'll put it on a highlight just for anyone watching this.
We need to see that, because this is what women in business do. We fly from Noosa to Melbourne in what seems like some sort of hurricane cyclone situation.
Been a hurricane.
So thank you for being here.
Could have gone down.
But it didn't. And you're here, and now we have caffeine. So that is amazing. So let's dial into the fundamentals of your business. How did you get to where you are right now?
I would say, I'm going to say buzzwords that people hear every day and you'll roll your eyes at, but like consistency. You know, I think I've definitely been through a lot of different seasons in my business, and for those who do know me, I've had 2 hyperemesis pregnancies, which during the time that I've had my business, which is really tough. I've gone through seasons of having newborns and, you know, all different ways that the world has been. And I keep showing up in whatever capacity that I can. I'm definitely very resilient in my business. I think that's probably my strongest quality. So I've got the ability to pivot, you know. And so I think when you just have that realness and you keep coming back to the ways that you're using the oils in your daily life and in your home, there's no reason to not keep sharing.
Absolutely. So you were talking resilience, and I'm really keen to hear how resilient you've had to be over the past couple of years. You know, we've had different states go through different seasonal threats, let's call it. But more so, you've had to pivot in the way that you're presenting yourself and presenting your business. You know, you've had to look online and become the influencer, the one that, we need that influence on how to use that Christmas garland in 10 different incredible ways. I was sold.
I want to know, did people use it in all those 10 different ways?
I'll have to check to see what the sales results were like with that garland, but I'm pretty sure people were influenced, so good
amazing.
On you. But running a business is more than that, right? It's more than just being the funny chick online. It's about showing up in classroom settings and running the business so that there's a practicality element. How did you get to where you are today around classwork?
We have a kind of like a running joke in our team about when I first started my business. And I mentioned before, like, I was doing so many classes and I just had this drive. I really wanted it. And the joke is that I've probably had the most no-show classes of any wellness advocate in all of dōTERRA. Like I've had...
That's a hat you want to wear.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a winner at something. But, you know, for me, every time I had a situation like that, you know, I'd set up this beautiful class. And I think especially when your demographic is young mums, though, you have to take an element of that, because so many mums will have all of the intention of rocking up on the day, but things go wrong. Your kids get sick, your childcare falls through, or, you know, the morning is just so overwhelming that you don't make it. And so for me, you know, in those situations when I was teaching so many face-to-face classes, instead of like sitting there and moping and being, oh, you know, I failed at this today, it was a pivot of, okay, I've got this time to sit here and how can I utilize that for my business? And so that's kind of always the attitude that I've had when something is not working in my business or something doesn't go the way that I expect it to. How can I reframe this and turn it into something positive? And so that for me was a big thing when I started focusing more online. I guess when I started my Instagram account, when I first started my business, I was kind of chipping away at it slowly. I was focusing on face-to-face and building slowly this online audience. And I guess in an online capacity, for anyone who is building their business there, it's kind of, it takes a little bit longer to develop those relationships. You're not going to open up your Instagram account and suddenly have 100 sales every month. Whereas, you know, in a face-to-face environment, you might meet people on the day and everyone in the room walks away with a home essentials kit. You know, it's a different relationship journey. But when I had things come up in my life, such as, you know, becoming really sick in my second pregnancy and not being able to leave the house or drink water, you know, any of those things. Because I had built that foundation, it meant that I could pivot. And instead of going, oh my gosh, I can't go out and teach classes, my business is gonna, you know, disappear and fall through the cracks. It was, how can I do the core things that I do in my business in a way that's gonna work for my life right now? And that meant moving to online. So, you know, the foundations of what you do are exactly the same, whether you're doing it face-to-face, whether you're doing it in an online space. You're building relationships, you're sharing the power of oils, it's your pipes, you know, they're all the same activities.
So classes.
Yes.
And I know I keep talking about classes, but it's literally my favourite thing in the world. I am an ex-primary school teacher and I love getting people together to talk about like the practicality of oils. You know that I adore the AromaTouch technique and I love this kit for so many reasons. What were you just telling me a moment ago?
Okay, so I have a confession. I've pretty much ignored this kit for a solid 5 years. It was not on my radar. It was not one I ever spoke about. And I probably had this perception of it that was too much about the actual technique and not about the actual collection of oils and how powerful they are in so many different aspects. Totally. I've recently become very familiar with the AromaTouch kit and the technique, funnily enough. But I've fallen in love with this kit because it's so much more than just the AromaTouch. You know, I look at this now as like a whole family kit because it has got all of the support. You know, if we're looking at emotions, we're looking at sleep support, we're looking at, you know, physical, whether it's wellness.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. We were talking about it, you know, over the past couple of months. We obviously have just finished the AromaTouch competition and you and I were speaking about how can we amplify this kit so that it really does suit us as mums. And we've both got young kids. I've got 2 myself, you've got 3. So you're much busier than I am, but I think we're all in the depths together. We're those ducks with those
deep in it.
flapping flippers. But we are looking for simple solutions. And we're constantly talking about that ditch and switch messaging that, you know, we've got toxic chemicals that sit underneath that kitchen cupboard. We've got horrible fragrances that sit in almost every product on aisle 9, 10 or 11 of your supermarket. And how do we practically get rid of that stuff and make it safe for our kids to live, to breathe, and we just feel that confidence. So you've got a beautiful story that how you implemented the technique with an oil to really have a bit more connection with your daughter. Would you be comfortable sharing that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I got the AromaTouch kit recently and I went online and I did the beautiful program that comes with it, I remember us having a conversation on the phone and I was like, I love this so much, but I have got a new baby, I've got 2 other small children, and for me to sit there and do a full AromaTouch technique, it's that 45 to 60 minutes. I said, I don't have that long where I'm not holding a baby. But it's an example of how I see things that I want to implement in my business and I pivot and I make it work for me and my life at the time. And so I started doing the hand technique, which is just such a beautiful, simplified version, but one that still brings in those important pieces of the aroma and the touch and the connection. And I've got a beautiful 6-year-old daughter who is, she's in school now. So, we've got 5 days of the week where she's not with me. And we started bringing this into just our nightly routine. It's like our little thing that we do together. And it has been so special for us. We go in at night and we read a book together, and then we get out her balance oil because she's got, her own little oil station in her room. And we sit there and I give her a little AromaTouch hand technique, and we have these little chats, and I see her, like, her whole body relax, and I see her grounding. And we'll talk about things in her day that, I don't know if anyone else has a 6-year-old that literally tells them nothing about their day at school. Like, what did you do? Don't know.
Yeah.
But when we have those moments where it's just us and we're in that little space together, it's been so beautiful for our relationship.
Yeah. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah. My 5-year-old's like that. You ask her, what did you have for lunch today? Who did you play with? Yeah. What made you feel happy today? And it's like, they know it in themselves, but they don't want to share it. Yeah. But unless you create a bit more of that quiet zone, away from siblings, away from the noise, the TV, the chaos of the home, and just take them into their bedrooms and have a little bit of one-on-one time. It is so beautiful. You've inspired me as well. So after I heard that story about your daughter, I've started doing that same thing with my kiddos. Funnily enough, after they hop out of the bath, I've got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. We wrap them up in their towels. They go off to my 2-year-old's bedroom, and then they both lie down on the carpet, nudie-roody. And they pick out their oil, and we do the hand technique. Sometimes we do a little bit of an oil application along their spine. So we're adapting. Yeah. And each time we do it, I find that they give me a little bit more time. Yeah. So it was a good 5 seconds the first time I tried it with my son. He's 2 and he's crazy. Yeah. But after a while, he's been asking for it, and now it's been building up where I can actually do a little bit of that technique along his back. Yeah. And like you, I don't have a lot of time to be able to do that full technique, but you do need to pivot. Yeah. And take those blinkers off and think, well, okay, this might not suit my business in terms of the technique component, but how do these oils support my customers? And what elements could I draw out of this kit that would help to support their needs state? So what would you recommend for this kit for, say, one of your low-tox mum customers?
Well, there's so many options with these oils, and one of the things that I'm actually going to be doing in April in the lead up to Mother's Day is I'm going to be running a self-care for mums workshop that I'm going to base on this kit. Yeah. And I'm going to teach them, a little bit about that hand technique, and not only for them and their kids, but for them and their partners, like as something that they can share just as a way of connection. At the end of the day, when all the chaos is done and you just want to sit there in silence, but bringing back that connection in their relationship. But so many other beautiful ways that they can manage self-care. So one thing that I've always done with my kids, when you're in that baby stage and you're sitting and you're breastfeeding for what feels like hours, is doing little foot soaks as a way of self-care while you're sitting there and feeding. And so I love using the AromaTouch blend itself for this with some Epsom salts. That's a really beautiful one. And then you're looking at the other oils here, and we've got lavender, which is really great for supporting your emotions or your skin, or you can put that in the bath with your kids to help them wind down at the end of the day. It might be tea tree, which is helping to support the physical wellness. I use that in a lot of blends with lavender because they're such gentle oils. They're ones that I'm using regularly for the kids to support them. We've got some winter wellness oils in there, and then we've got cleaning. So if you're someone that's focusing on how do I create a healthier home for my family, and that's one of the greatest acts of self-care that we can do. You've got oils in there that can help you switch products.
Yeah.
And then I look at peppermint, and peppermint, I would say, like, this is an oil that helps me survive motherhood. I mean, I haven't slept in about 7 years now.
Well, you look amazing for someone that
Thank
hasn't
you.
slept.
But, you know, if I get up first thing in the morning and I'm like, how am I going to make a lunchbox and get out the door today?
Yeah.
I can grab my peppermint and I can either pop that in the diffuser or put a drop in the palms of my hands and take some deep inhales. And it's just, it completely shifts my energy and the way that I can get up and start the day.
Oh, I love
and
that.
so, you know, looking at this collection of oils, it really does support every element. And I think it's especially powerful for busy mums who are, you know, trying to tick all of those boxes and take care of their families, but take care of themselves as well.
Absolutely. Let's talk about lunchboxes for a second, because you've just given me this like light bulb moment. I've just thought, you know what? I can think of at least 4 oils that I could just use in the lunchbox creation session of my household. Now, my kids are at kinder and childcare at the moment, so I'm gearing up for lunchbox season next year. It's actually a stress of mine because I don't know how I'm going to find the food and all the baking, all the natural goodness, and I don't want anything packaged in that lunchbox as well. But let's think for a second, how would I clean that lunchbox at the end of each day to get rid of the crap that the kids pick up at school and protect just the physical of the lunchbox? I'm thinking On Guard and tea tree.
Absolutely.
You could soak it, wash it, and then even add a little drop into the corner. That would be a gorgeous way to just cleanse the physicality of it. I'm thinking peppermint as well. I'm physically using that myself, but I could make peppermint bliss balls, for example, for the kids' lunches, or a brownie or something, even a peppermint in the cake, or something like that. Have you ever used On Guard to help chop onions? Have you heard of this?
I've heard of people doing that. I never remember to try it though.
It's
I've
such
never
a good
remembered
hack
to try it.
for anyone that's interested in like saving their eyeballs when you're trying to chop up like dinner with the onions. Have either just the On Guard bottle sitting next to the chopping board, or you can put a little drop on a little cotton round or a little cloth or something. And the aromas of the On Guard actually help to stop. I don't know how it works.
That's amazing.
I'm probably going to get into trouble for saying it, to be honest, but the smell seems to stop my eyes from watering.
That's incredible, because I sob if I'm chopping it. Like, I'm like tears streaming from my eyes.
Totally. And when you forget to pull out the On Guard, you're like, oh, no, I should have done that. I should have done that. And then you've got the physicality support as well. You've got the AromaTouch and the Ice Blue. That on the soles of your feet with a bit of FCO, fractionated coconut oil, is heaven after a massive day. But it's also really great for helping to support your body in the way that it functions. You know, putting your feet up against a wall at the end of the day is going to help that blood flow back to the center of your body, into your heart, which is what you want it to do, so that we can help that circulation and that lymphatic drainage and whatnot. By adding essential oils into that process, it just elevates that experience. It helps you to feel a bit more like you after we've been operating like this for so long. So what kind of hacks do you have with any of these oils?
So, I mean, laundry would be a great starting point. There's multiple of these oils that we would use. Lavender is one that I will always use when we're washing, you know, the sheets and the bedding. Tea tree for a lot of those, like, things that get a little bit yuckier, maybe like husband's work clothes, or maybe we got the kids' daycare stuff.
Even in the actual washing machine.
Do
you know, just a drop of tea tree in the washing machine before you would do your bicarb vinegar scrub it up. They say after each 8 to 10 washes, which I've only just recently learned, the tea tree in there is going to help to just clean away any of that additional gunk that might be hanging around in the washing machine.
It's so great. And then often, like, you know, there'll be times where we use a bit of On Guard as well in there, which is just beautiful and, you know, once again, really cleansing.
Absolutely. Protects against those seasonal threats.
Seasonal threats, that's right.
Ice Blue's an interesting one, because not a lot of people know what to do with Ice Blue. Do you have any good tips for that particular oil?
Yeah, look, this is one of the reasons that I loved it so much to begin with is because, and I hear this quite commonly, you know, when I first brought the oils into my home, my husband was a bit skeptical. Ice Blue was the game changer there. It was one that we were using a lot on his back, and he kind of got to a point where he would be asking for it, or he'd be taking it out to work with him, and kind of started to get him on board with the other oils. For me, this is one that I love to use. Like we were just talking before about, you know, being a mum and you're busy and you're like not only carrying the load, but you're literally carrying the load. Like I've got 3 kids, I'm carrying children constantly. It is so beautiful at the end of the day just to be able to apply a little bit. Maybe it's to like my lower back just to help soothe a little bit, or to the soles of my feet if I've had a particularly busy day where I've been running around and doing all of the things. Even for some monthly support, I love massaging that on my lower back, and it just gives me so much relief and just helps me to feel soothed.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes you just need a little bit of soothing.
Soothing is great.
Really, I have just started looking like an absolute goob out in my backyard, and I was telling you this earlier that I've started a new exercise regime, I'm doing weights, I am doing all sorts of things. The neighbours are worried, they're hearing all sorts of strange sounds, but it's me trying to get my fitness up, get my strength happening. After kids, we know everything goes just a little bit softer, and that's okay. That's completely okay, but my back was playing up as a result of everything going a little bit softer. And I'm regretful that I didn't have the oils with my firstborn. And I've noticed such a massive difference having the oils around with my second, but we do forget to use it on ourselves. It's always about what can I do for the home, what can I do for the kids, what can I do for the hubby. I mean, how many times have we given our hubby a massage using Ice Blue? Where are the reciprocal rights? It doesn't happen. So I would encourage everyone to learn the AromaTouch technique, purchase the kit, get the technique, teach your husband, because then he will also have that skill set that can return the favour. But Ice Blue I've found at night, mixing with a little bit of copaiba and a little bit of lavender and FCO, or if I've got a moisturiser handy, I just add it to some sort of emollient that's going to help to carry it into the skin a little bit deeper. And I give myself a little bit of a massage along my back, along my neck and my shoulders, just to drop everything back down, because you realise by the end of the day, you're up here. This works wonders for supporting your bodily systems, whether it's your muscle tension, whether it's just the soreness and tiredness and feeling a little bit lackluster. There's a stimulation that happens with this. It either feels warm or it feels cool, and it's like your body knows what it needs and it will adapt that heat setting for you. It's just such a toolkit that once you open your eyes almost to the possibilities, it's really endless. What oil or oils would you add to this if you had a customer that wanted to start their low tox journey?
I feel like if you're going to add anything, you'd go a lemon, because you can use lemon for everything.
True.
Absolutely everything. But like on a whole, it covers so many of the bases. So you don't really need to if you're just wanting to get started and cover those foundations. You know, frankincense, copaiba, some of the favorites. But, you know, start with this and put them on your wish list. Get them for your first loyalty rewards order. And you can start expanding.
So this really is the kit that people could start their low tox journey with.
100%.
We don't want to take away from the other starter kits that we do have available, but this is the value add. And I am biased, I'll be honest. I am very passionate about this AromaTouch kit. But I think that whether you're a customer that's starting her low tox journey to support homes, their lower the toxins, support their family lifestyles, or you're wanting to start because you want to learn the technique and be able to provide the physical support that comes from being able to provide 45 minutes of physical touch and connection, which is just beautiful in itself. Whatever end of the spectrum you sit on, the AromaTouch kit, I find, really is the solution for it all. Do you agree?
Oh, 100%. It's such a beautiful collection, and I'm just kicking myself that I ignored it for so many years.
Well, it's never too late, and I am so thankful that we were able to have that conversation a few months ago. You were able to experience the kit and the technique, and I'm sure your daughter is also super thankful.
So beautiful.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on the couch with me today. This has been so much fun. We've both been quite well behaved, considering. I thought this could have been a little bit...
Maybe not in the outtakes.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone stay tuned for what happens in the outtakes. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I hope you've found some inspiration from today's conversation to look at the possibilities from the AromaTouch kit to support your families in their low tox lifestyles. This kit creates opportunities for everyone to feel confident in ditching toxins from their homes and build the confidence we all need. I've found my new low tox bestie Thank you for being you, Courtney, and for sharing all the magic that is you. Until next time, bye for now.